It's early.
Just doing a little entry music dance.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Marvel Card Collectors podcast. My name is Ian. Realise you've probably got an awful lot of shit to be doing in your lives these days. So we are very grateful that you've chosen to spend a little bit of time in our company. And whose company do we have this week? We have, what's his name? Keith. There we go.
That guy.
That guy. It's like I'm looking in a mirror.
Sometimes it's frightening.
Yeah,
early in the morning bore my eyes clear up and everything. I'm like, what's going on? What universe am I looking into?
Exactly. What's going on? God, I look too much like Ian. We have Jason.
Hello.
And today, everybody in chat, because Jake's there, Pete's there, Keith's there, and here. That's bizarre. Mikkel, Mike is in the house. Everyone needs to wish a very happy 40th birthday to Josh, James, Kennedy, Julian, Mark, Angus Smith.
Oh, boy. Nice.
Right. And we are now going to sing Happy Birthday. We are going to sing Happy Birthday to him after 3. 1, 2. We should probably pick a key. Even if we pick one, we'll all go off it. Anyway, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Josh James Kennedy Smith. Happy birthday to you. There we go.
How many did we lose?
All of them.
Sorry.
All of them.
Sorry.
All of them.
Yeah,
Josh.
Yes, sir.
How you feeling?
Good. So, 40 comes quick. It sneaks up on you. And certainly, life does as well. But, crazy year for me and for Marvel cards. Crazy year all around. And in the hobby, it's just no different for me. Throughout all the chaos, I'm as crazy as ever about it. So I love it. I love being here. I love all you guys. And it's just like I've said it before, it's been like a movie. I'm lucky. Somebody's looking out for me. So, I haven't I've spent most of the time in 6th gear, a lot of that, and it's worked out okay. So there's some luck there, and I'm grateful for it.
Good. Well, we're glad to have you with us. Tell us what your day has in store after we hit the end stream button. What are you up to today?
So down here, a lot of the big passes we got barrier islands all around this part of Florida.
Okay.
And where the barrier islands connect, because they need water flow in and out of them in the back bay, there's these places called passes. So you got New Pass, Big Carlos Pass, Lover's Key, all these places. So all the boats meet up there, probably 200-300 boats, about 150 each side, and it's just a great time. Everybody,
just for your birthday?
Yeah. Well, no. They do this as a.
They do that shit anyway.
I'm gonna be under that impression today, but
yeah.
And everyone jumps off each other's boats and jumps onto each other's boats, has a good time. We have that one of those by us.
Yeah. Bunch of people connect their boats, tie them together, and make these big floating barges. And so a few of them have water slide. Oh yeah. Oh, it's. It takes a few seasoned veterans out there to kind of keep everything right.
Right.
It gets nutty, but it'll be fun.
Wow. It reminds me of the time the Phoenix Festival in the 90s, where you'd be so penned in waiting for the big next act to come on the main stage, and you'd pre-rolled some joints. So you'd spark it up, you'd pass it on, and you would never see it again.
Right. See you
Lo and
later.
behold, a joint comes in from left. It's like,
Right.
okay, I'll have some of that. And everyone's just like they're just going around the crowd. And we're talking thousands of people here. So who knows?
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't do that these days because imagine the germs.
The
But
stuff we did when we were young. Oh, yeah.
Stuff we did when we were little. Anyway, don't do drugs, kids.
That's right.
Save them for your Uncle Ian. Send them my way.
Devil's
Anyway, so I am going to say, before we get into this, there are going to be spoilers today, folks. If you haven't seen, I'm just sorry. I just suddenly remembered I'm going to caveat this, and then Keith is probably going to lay into me a little bit. But
I know what you usually do.
you know what I'm going to say. Right. So we are going to be talking about the newest MCU release, Thunderbolts. Little asterisks at the end. Okay. And we're going to be talking about that one. And the reason being is because for once I've actually seen one roughly when it comes out. Not like years down the line. So we're going to be talking about that, and there is going to be spoilers. So if anyone doesn't actually want to know or hasn't seen it, then you can either put us on mute or bugger off and come back and watch this on repeat when you have seen it. But I will preface that to say, please can we not talk about Captain America Brave New World, because I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting for it to come on Disney Plus. I wanted to go and see it, Keith. I wanted to go and see it, but it had already buggered off the cinema because Minecraft the movie came out. And
I'm okay with it. You didn't miss much.
Okay, yeah, but I'll be the judge of that because I think we're different. We'll have different opinions. But yes. So, what was I going to say next? I don't know. We've had apologies from Wesley, by the way. Wesley won't be joining us today, but he's here in spirit. So let's send Wesley some love. I would do that love with the hand, but I always end up looking like I've got some sort of thing going on.
Look at Avatar.
Anyway, so I haven't seen Brave New World. I have actually, bizarrely enough, almost caught up on Star Wars Andor, but that's not for this podcast. But I'm
very good.
Yeah, I powered through season 1 in like a week. I think I'm on episode 3 of season 2. It's so good.
2 seasons so far, or 3's just starting?
No, it's going to be 2, and that's it.
2 and done.
2 and they're out.
All
So
right.
if you've seen Rogue One, this takes you up to the beginning of Rogue One, apparently.
Apparently, right to it. Like it ends, and you could start Rogue One and be like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah, and which is exactly what I intend to do.
Nice.
So yeah. Anyway, but Thunderbolts, I saw it on Thursday evening in Manchester because I was away at a conference, and loved it. I really enjoyed it. I went in with zero expectations. I'd rewatched all of the Disney Plus shows that a lot of these characters had been on to kind of, refresh myself. And, some of them were much better than I remember, actually. Falcon and Winter Soldier, for example, not perfect, but a lot more fun than I, remember at the time. Hawkeye, I enjoyed both times around. There was something else I was going to rewatch as well, but I forgot to. I was going to rewatch Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah.
For one of the characters, and I was going to rewatch Black Widow, but I couldn't bring myself to because I really didn't enjoy that. Anyway, so we've all seen it, yeah?
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, first you got to rip the Band-Aid off Ian and say, "Did you see New Avengers?"
At the end, yes.
you got to just screw everybody up.
Sorry, yeah. Okay, there we go. So that's for anyone.
You got to do the ultimate spoiler.
Yeah, if we're going to do the ultimate spoiler, the asterisk at the end of the name, they reveal at the end of the movie that is New Avengers, and the whole branding thing. Listen, I mean, I loved it. I haven't had that much fun since Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I don't think
it was good. I think it delivered perfectly. I think it didn't overpromise based on trailers and stuff, and I think it didn't underdeliver one bit. So I think that's what made me happy about it more than anything. If there's tiny gripes here and there, we'll get to them as we go. But generally speaking, it was super fun, and I thought it was a good sign of things to come.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. When you've got a character like Sentry, for example, it's a tough execution. It's not easy to have. DC talked often about how difficult it is to make a good Superman movie. And so from not just from a CGI standpoint, but blending it into a storyline that works and stuff like this. Not only was it hilarious, I thought it was hilarious. They tied it in great. You know, the way it was written, I thought was pretty well done. And then when it got down time to see what the Century was all about, wow, that's pretty impressive. So
I really think, you know, me and Billy were talking about how it was a Pew vehicle, and she really knocked it out of the park. She took the wheel and steered pretty much the whole movie.
Oh God, yeah,
and she was phenomenal at it.
Yes,
there was a lot of articles I read about how the characters kind of changed things on the fly and were allowed to, about how the characters were portrayed. Like she chose that zip up hoodie to be the beginning outfit that she wore and not a full costume because she decided that she wanted to seem more depressed. You know, things like that were really cool that they got some creative aspects to that. It was good. It was very good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think the Century was kind of my favorite part, just because he's a character that I read and knew Avengers, but it took so long to build up to him, and it was a lot of just talking. And so I know his backstory, but he's a complicated character. But I thought that they really got to the point with him pretty well in this movie. And was the actor Lewis Pullman did a good job.
It's Bill Pullman's son.
Yeah, it's Bill Pullman.
The president.
Oh, get out of here!
Independence Day. Yeah. And doesn't he half look like his dad?
Yep. Now
that you say it, Jesus, baby Lone Star.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the second movie he's played a character named Bob. He was Bob.
Oh, really?
His call sign was Bob in Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, of course he was in that. Yes,
he was in Maverick. That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's the nerdy guy on the side when they're playing pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'd forgotten he was in Maverick. Wow. Okay.
He did a great job. Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. No, what I really like is, all right, it took a fair while in the movie before you actually saw Sentry, but Bob was there pretty much from like 10-15 minutes in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I love the fun they had with just letting that character just hang around like a bad fart. You know, he was just kind of there, and they'd interact with him, and it was just a bit, and you saw some of the ominous shit, like John Walker seeing the crate that he'd come out of in that storage facility where they found him, but not kind of putting two and two together. And it's like, you know, he hadn't connected the dots, but we as the audience did. I really like that. You kind of know there's something coming up. And yeah, I just I tell you what I really liked was the Julie Louis-Dreyfus's character, Defontaine.
I liked how snarky she was. She was super snarky in a fun way. That was another thing. The comedy wasn't pushed. I felt, you know, that it was there. There were one-lines and stuff like that, and stupid things that were done. But man, they didn't push it the way it's been in the past, where it just was force-fed down your throat.
Yeah. This was just kind of letting it roll off. And you know, I have to say, I mean, I'm a massive Seinfeld fan, so she can do that sort of stuff in her sleep. I haven't watched Veep, but apparently she was excellent in that as well.
This is kind of a more evil version of her character on Veep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But no, I really enjoyed her kind of the way she did it. And I mean, listen, we're gonna flip around a little bit, but it just as it's come into my head, that thing that she did at the end where they went through underneath that ruined crane, and there was a whole press conference on
she had it all set up.
Yeah, that she had set up, and they were ready to kind of, you know, biff her one and take her to jail at that point. So yeah, no, I just love the whole getting coffee thing. The one thing I didn't quite buy, it felt a bit convenient, was the whole Bucky being a congressman.
So you would have learned about that sooner.
Yeah, that kind of didn't work for me, because I'm not being funny. I just can't see him doing it, especially when he's that bit where all the reporters are talking to him, and he's just really not. Right. And I'm like, you wouldn't even get to be a congressman without, you know, knowing how to do some of that stuff. So it kind of that pulled me out of it a little bit.
Not to mention, we're just going to overlook the countless war crimes and stuff he did.
Yeah.
I mean, like
He was mind controlled, but
yeah. Well, we're gonna give you a pass and your freedom for that, which is fine. But like a seat in the Senate.
Well, listen, he got the flag.
Congress.
He got flag smashes. So
maybe it was just a cover. Maybe he just worked it for his cover. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he was comfortable in that role at all. In the 2 times we saw it.
Yeah. It just that kind of came out of the.
And his hair didn't work.
What was there ever a thing in the comics? Was that ever done? Was Winter Soldier ever part of like in some storyline?
Not that I know.
Did he go
I'm gonna ask the interwebs.
Yeah,
because it seems like that. So every once in a while they take those little flyers on old comic lines that maybe not even were that popular, but
I don't know. I mean, what I do like is Wendell Pierce, Bunk from The Wire, and he was in Jack Ryan as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good to watch in anything, and he was just having fun with it.
So first, he's not a senator; he's a congressman, and yes, it was done.
I did say that. Yeah.
Mm. Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I didn't buy about it was his hair.
Right.
So his hair was kind of Preta Bucky, it was ready to go, but when you put him in the suit, it just didn't look right. It just looked like a really greasy kind of.
Listen,
jiggle.
I want more of him anywhere in the MCU. I think he's the best thing still around in the MCU.
Oh yes, absolutely.
The Winter Soldier is my favorite of the MCU movies. I think still to date, just because I like that spy aspect that it had to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I rewatched Civil War recently, and that is much better than I remember the first time.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Civil War.
Yeah, because the Winter Soldier is a proper 70s like political thriller.
Yeah,
basically. But Civil War kind of it feels like it's carrying on that story in a really good way. So yeah, no, what else?
So the only thing that it didn't do was he didn't rip anybody in half.
No.
There was no medial alien or someone for him to just shred.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See,
wait
Mikkel,
for Doomsday.
There you go.
Supposed to look right in the suit. I guess so. But when I'm watching the film, I don't have time to do those kind of like analyses. I just go with it, and it just it just pulled me out a bit. Anyway, it's a minor gripe. The other thing I loved was the Red Guardian and his limo.
Oh
yeah.
And his limo service.
Protecting you from a boring evening.
Yeah.
I know. But no, from boring evening.
From boring evening.
Yeah.
From boring
Protecting
evening.
you from boring evening.
Protecting you from boring evening.
Oh, yeah. No, I love it. And he's like, when he's like at the beginning when you first see him, I said, leave it on porch. It's Yelena there. And hey, it's Billy, everybody. So yeah, Billy kind of reminds me of Bob a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know why. I've not met either of them. I'm not sure I'd want to meet Bob. But
This
Keith,
Bob or Hydra Bob?
This Bob.
Okay.
Who's Hydra Bob?
He's
in Deadpool comics. He's like a lackey that always in the middle of everything Deadpool's doing, and he's the only one he doesn't kill every time.
Don't know. I don't read Deadpool comics, so who knows?
They referenced him in the first Deadpool when the SWAT team. There's one guy he doesn't kill. He's like Bob. In the first Deadpool, they had the Jacksonville, Florida TGI Fridays. They apparently a big party had happened. So I have a lot of useless information.
That got really specific.
No, that was quality.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
Like, wow.
That was quality.
Okay. Yeah, that was good. Have you ever heard of Stato? No, no, right. So in the UK, and I don't think he's around anymore, but there used to be a pundit on football, soccer for you guys, programs in the UK, and he was known as Stato because he had an encyclopedic photographic knowledge of soccer matches throughout the year. Score lines, players, what team lineup played, who got sent off in what match, who was down to 10 men but still managed to win on penalty shootouts, all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have it like that. Jason is our Stato.
That's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure, but you
is.
kind of just volunteered yourself for the position, I'm afraid.
Right.
So yeah, no, Red Guardian, I enjoyed that a lot, and I really enjoyed that sequence with the limo. How long was that limo, by the way? And those Humvees on the road, yeah, bulletproof, yeah. Bulletproof miles.
Deploying countermeasures.
Right. Hits a disco ball. Come on.
No,
it's like the karaoke cab.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, any other bits that stand out for you guys? Sorry, I'm just love gushing about Thunderbolts here.
I liked when we kind of the one action scene we saw with Bucky when he shows up in the desert and takes out the
convoy and
the convoy and stuff. Like, we've got to see him do something. I know that he's the a-hole Captain America, but I really like Wyatt Russell as John Walker. He is a jerk, but he is capable. Like, I mean, he's got military experience and he, knows how to do stuff. He's just, kind of a jerk. But I like
the serum.
And yeah, he's got the serum, but he's he protected him when the window blew out in the limo, and but he, nobody likes him. But I think Wyatt Russell does a great job in that role.
He does.
That was like to do with the serum when he asked him, what strain of serum you got?
Oh yeah,
regular.
And I thought that was cool, like, because the whole thing, Jason, you like kind of like the whole Hydra and some of the secret society stuff, and the serum has like this history behind it that it's like the Cold War. The Russians competed. They made their own version.
Right.
Hydra made their own version. The Winter Soldier program. And then even the Century is a Weapon X modified.
Trying to recreate it. Yeah.
It's supposed to be 1,000 times more powerful than Captain America. Like, that's wow. And his atoms accelerate faster than our timeline. So that's like the core of the power. And some of that stuff is just fucking cool. How
they describe him as what, the strength of a million suns, or the strength of 1,000 suns, or something like that.
Yeah, 1,000 exploding suns or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, and he also, I think it's from the comics, he has amnesia, and they did that a little bit in this at the end of the movie when he's back in Bob form. He doesn't remember anything that happened.
Right.
Oh, well, no, he doesn't immediately, but then
during
the first end credit bit, they say to him about Sentry, and he goes, he can't come out because if he does, the other guy comes out. So he's obviously,
it came back
him a while to get his bearings, I think. But no, I've just saying, Pete was just saying about John Walker, about how his shield is still bent in the end credits. That does make me laugh. It's like turn it into I think someone at some point says he turned your shield into a taco.
A taco, yeah.
Which I thought was funny.
Got to get him a new shield.
That's Avengers they left out too, because he erases everyone's memory of him in the comics.
Yeah.
He has
Sentry.
Yeah, he has the ability to erase everyone's memory of him, because I think his powers are directly linked to how he uses them and whether or not people like know who he is. There's like a confidence thing in there that brings out the void.
Yeah, that's that was kind of how he's introduced in the New Avengers, because I think they find him. I think he had locked himself up in a cell in the raft or whatever to be away from. He gets out and they're kind of figuring out who he is. So,
wow. Okay. Avengers Tower. Nice to see it back, but
I broke my heart.
I'm actually I do quite like the fact they've used that very sparingly throughout.
It's an Airbnb.
Well, in fact, it is now. It's an Airbnb. It's got holes in it. So, but no, that was fun, and I love the assistant who's always got a coffee.
Yeah,
always got DeFontaine's coffee. Can anyone actually say DeFontaine's full name? Because I can't remember it.
Valentina Allegra DeFontaine. There's something.
There's something else going on.
Don't forget the day.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, they make a point of that, so I can't forget that bit. But no, it's
Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Says the interwebs.
Well, the interwebs must be correct because we're on it right now.
Oh yeah.
So I know
Everything
you're
on the
thinking.
interweb looks great.
So in the comics, she's a SHIELD agent in the comics and is Nick Fury's like on again, off again love interest.
Oh.
Jeez.
Okay.
Ime Uboka.
Yeah. Okay.
But in the movies, she's kind of this bureaucrat, and in Wakanda Forever, she was, I guess, the ex-wife of the Martin Freeman.
Everett K. Ross. Yeah. Who's General Ross's son, I believe. Is he the son of General Thunderbolt Ross?
They never referenced that.
They never said it. I just thought with the name.
I think he just has. Yeah, I think it's just Betty's Thunderbolt Ross's only child.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, they missed a trick there. They could have tied all that up. Mind you, there's other people called Ross in the world.
And no Zemo. That's my only.
No Zemo.
I really wanted to see him.
Yeah.
I think he steals the show.
Yeah, he was
a great character.
He's banged up, isn't he, in Wakanda?
I think.
Remember the Wakanda's got him at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah.
No, he gets away.
No. They took him away at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
in
took
fact,
him away.
They did it in the penultimate episode because Bucky was there, and Bucky had all the bullets from Zemo's gun, and he emptied them out, and then the Wakandans turned up and took him. So they did it in the penultimate episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So the final episode was just, they'd written him out by then, so they could just focus exclusively on the flag smashers. And
I thought there was some kind of end credit scene where he gets back on the plane with his butler. No,
I don't think so. No, his butler did blow up a flag smasher van at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'd arrested the flag smashers. They were taking them away, and his butler is seen in a car activating a remote detonator, and the remaining flag smashers are murdered effectively. Okay. So he did kind of finish them off, if you like, but he wasn't actually there.
I tried to find it because I thought several years ago when they first announced this movie that there was some promo art and he was in it, that he was going to be in the movie, but I can't find where that was ever the case. I may have made that up.
It's possible you might have imagined it in a fever dream created by one too many pints of beer.
That's true.
Yeah.
They've been talking about this one for a while though. So
they have. They announced it a fair while ago. What I like about let me tell you another thing that I found quite jarring. I thought it was interesting that in all of the promos you had the Taskmaster character from Black Widow appearing in the poster, and yet in all of the premieres the actress who plays her wasn't there. I just thought that was a little bit odd because Olga Kurylenko, she was a Bond girl. She's not too unpleasant to look at. You would have thought that they trotted her out some of the premieres. Right. Lo and behold, that character gets shot in the head 3 minutes into the first scene she's in, and she's off the board. She's done.
Killed me. Yeah.
I
love the Taskmaster.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's a real waste.
I was glad for that retcon. I didn't like how they portrayed that character. Period.
Well, yes. I mean, it's very different to what you've seen in the comics and the cards, but it was still very, it was still a very interesting. Oh, hello, hold that up again. Oh, I see. He's bought some of the MCU. I've bought the comic art one. So let me as he's raised that up.
That's yeah. I don't think that's Olga in that suit, though.
No. To be fair, I mean, I think
quote Austin Powers. That's a man, baby.
Yeah.
That's. Well, it's kind of my thing. Is like the little bit of history behind Taskmaster with the agent that decided to go back on S.H.I.E.L.D. I know just a little bit about it, and some of that backstory was cool. And then the technology that he either stole or absorbed to mimic fighting styles, and so when I'm with Keith, when when they introduced the Taskmaster, it was kind of a disappointment. I thought the suit was cool.
Yeah,
I was down with the the retro suit, the new look. But that's probably why it feels like that's why they went the direction they did with the movie, because the depiction of this character, that version wasn't good.
No,
probably
but
better to.
I've only seen Black Widow one time, but they made a big deal about that character, that she had been, had a horrific thing happen to her. She was mind controlled.
Of a character that someone
she finally broke free and was on her own, and then she gets shot by one of the other characters in the movie, and then they say, "Did you know that woman?" And Yelena says, "Yeah, she had a hard life, and was mind controlled," and that was it. And then her and Ghost go on to make fun of John Walker. So
so it was very quickly dispatched. I mean, I'm okay with the fact that characters have different incarnations in the MCU movies. I'm kind of all right with that. And for someone who's not read Taskmaster in the comics, for me that was, I didn't have that weight of expectation when I came to that character. So yeah, I don't know. I think, to be honest with you, I think the main reason they probably did it was to immediately prove in the most economical story way that any one of these characters could go at any moment, because they're not super powered. I mean, obviously you've got
and they're all disposable.
Serum, but exactly. So I think that was probably more the reason for it. Listen, I just think it would have been interesting to see that character's interplay with the rest of the team. But that said, we'll never know.
I heard after the movie came out, they were talking about one of the first drafts of the script, and they were going to have Taskmaster live and be part of the story. But because of everything that happened to her mind, that during the course that she'd kind of reset and still try to kill John Walker when they're in the middle of something, and everybody'd have to talk her out of it, which is interesting, but that may have been a little tiresome after a while.
And actually, the way they went with the fact that everyone goes into the characters' minds when they go into the void, and they relive like those bad experiences, you can imagine that she'd be off doing her own movie, because with a she's had a sad life. It's like, and she's off over there. So, but she's toast. Literally. I mean, not only was she shot in the head, and you actually saw a shot of the blood coming down. That's pretty full on for a Marvel movie. So they really wanted to land that point that she was gone, and then they incinerate everything in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So she's gone. There's nothing gets back unless Wong opened a portal and grabbed her just before those flames came down. So they might retcon it in that way, but you still got a bullet right in your brain. Don't know if
but
that one.
Just remember
Go ahead.
Like, remember the Extremis, the girl Khaleesi, who got shot in the head, and that she had the blood running down her head, and then she came back.
Yes.
And so that, I thought that was a weird take on, because Iron Man got that hit in him on Iron Man 3. They gave Pepper Potts got it by not by choice. He got it so they could take the reactor out of his chest. And all the while, when they killed Iron Man the way they did, not a lot of people were remembering that he still has Extremis in his body. So with those folks, dead doesn't seem to be dead for a while, and you never know which. I mean, now we know with Doom and everything coming, they're taking that's the multiverse timeline, kind of ride on it. He probably most likely won't come back via Extremis, but when they did that, it kind of did that thing for me. It's like, shit, dude, when do I know who's dead?
Yeah, when's dead? I mean, I think it's fairly safe to say that Scarlett Johansson's not coming back, because she's about to do a Jurassic World sequel. Someone talk to her agent. Sorry. Why? Why?
Those movies make a lot of money.
Oh, I know, but I mean, did she need like a new conservatory on her house or something? She's like, that'll pay for that. Fine, I'll get 6 months in Costa Rica. So while we're touching on the whole multiverse thing and what's coming up, let's talk about the end credit stings. Because there's not one of them, there's two of them. Now, the first one, I can't remember what the first one was.
The Wheaties in the supermarket.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the Red Guardian. Yeah, it does look weird with just the moustache, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He looked like a bit of a kiddie fiddler. But the second, the second. Have you never heard that expression? That's what we call them over here, or nonces. I can't believe we just went there. Yeah. Anyway, so but the second one, where obviously we have Bob referencing that if Sentry comes along, then the other guy comes out, and etc.
The Void.
That before we talk about the thing that Pete's just put in the chat. There's quite a lot of references there. So there's references to the fact that New Avengers' name isn't testing well. They're getting absolutely slaughtered by all the press and the media. Captain America, so Anthony Mackie's character, is legally trying to copyright the Avengers' name
and doesn't acknowledge them as the Avengers whatsoever.
Yeah, and then Bucky said that he had a chat with him about it, and it didn't go well at all. So. Yeah, there was quite a lot in just that dialogue before you got to the fact that there's something happening in space that they can detect. Now, I'm assuming they've still got access to some sort of Stark level AI technology because they're there talking to something that's telling them that something's happening in the atmosphere and yada, yada, yada. And then pull back to reveal, let's have a look at it. And it's the Fantastic Four rocket.
Yes.
So one assumes... And I think I'd read this somewhere. Not that we can spoil the Fantastic Four movie because it hasn't come out yet. But I think one of the things that I saw someone talking about is they freeze framed. In the Fantastic Four First Steps trailer, there's the bit where Reed Richards is there with his big blackboard thing.
Yeah.
And someone saw something that suggested that he was trying to go to another universe or find a way to bridge universes.
On the blackboard behind him.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And so one would surmise that whatever happens in Fantastic Four First Steps, they all get in a rocket, they fuck off, and they come to this reality that the main MCU is taking place in, that we've come to know and love. And we assume that Thunderbolts takes place in the main MCU.
Yeah. 616.
Yeah, but we assume so. What if they pulled a rug and found out you'd been watching a different reality all these last few phases?
Aside from the fact that all that goes on in the city and there's no Spider-Man, no Daredevil, there's no sign of any...
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, but they do that all the time with Marvel.
But it was pretty quick too.
Yeah, but like I said, it was literally they went into who knows how much time actually passed in the real world while they were inside the Void. So but yeah, they do that all the time. Look at Eternals. It took them 6 movies or whatever it was to address it in the one that I haven't seen that we won't talk about. But we'll pull the. I'm sorry, I'm going to be mean, Upper Deck. If you're still watching and listening, I'm going to be mean. We're going to pull an Upper Deck and we'll finally talk about that movie 2 years later, and we'll bring out product related to it. But fantastic. Right. First of all, can I just say that. Whatever these I love the fact that they feel like they've got a bit of direction now for the MCU. They're clearly building towards something again, and I think that's where it's kind of fallen over, because they were obviously building towards something that stalled for whatever reasons. They were floundering a little bit, and now it feels like they've got another creative bit of oomph to them. You've got Deadpool Wolverine, which was superb. Obviously, I've not seen the Captain America movie, and we've got mixed opinions about it, but that's clearly happened before this one, because it's referenced in this one about the president turning into a Hulk. And then you've got this one, and they're trailing Fantastic Four stuff. You've got Fantastic Four coming, so it's clearly all building up to Doom and Secret Wars
and Galactus.
Yeah, there's a much better direction behind everything right now. There was an article I read about Feige and how Iger wanted a lot of content, and he was just being a good soldier, and he kind of regrets that decision now. Because he pumped out a lot of stuff that he wishes he could have had more time to control the narrative of.
Too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It kind of reminded me of the last 2 years of Marvel releases, because we had like 18 months or so where there was like 2 releases, and everyone was like, we want product, and Upper Deck's like, okay, hold my beer, here you go.
Yeah.
2 years later, we're all like, oh, what just happened? So it kind of feels like that. Yeah, the Fantastic Four trailer. Now, weirdly, the new Fantastic Four trailer that I saw online about 3 weeks ago, the one that ends with Galactus's feet strolling through Manhattan. Yeah. So the newest one, where you see the Silver Surfer for the first time. They played that before this movie, but it was kind of a slightly weirdly shorter edited version of it. And it didn't really work in its slightly shortened form, bizarrely enough. It could have done with that longer one.
The only thing that was cool about it was seeing it in the theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. So I'm very excited about that one, and we will probably do one of these episodes when that comes out, because what I'm about to do, what I'd like to do, which is why we wanted to talk about this, is I thought it would be quite a lot of fun. Excuse me, sorry. To look at some of the characters in the Thunderbolts and their incarnations on trading cards, because we are the Marvel Card Collectors podcast.
This is true.
So while I get Card Cam onto the stage, Card Cam, it's your time. Your moment is get off the stage, Ian, you hideous. So while we're going to talk about this, I am really excited about some of the autograph prospects for this. What I'm not excited about is how Topps Fanatics are going to do autographs on MCU sets, because eventually they will bring out a set, and potentially they could have the autograph of Wendell Pierce, who played the senator. They could have the autograph of Julie Louise-Dreyfus. They could have Pullman's character. So all the others we've got autograph. Actually, no, we haven't got a John Walker autograph. We haven't got a Wyatt Russell one, nor do we have a Florence Pugh. But Sebastian Stan's, you can throw a rock and you can hit Sebastian Stan autograph. He's signed a lot. We've already got what's her name? No, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan was my first MCU auto.
Sebastian
Black
Stan.
Diamond.
There's a lot of them out there. Who am I thinking of? No, actually, there aren't that many autos out there. I think Hannah John Kamen, who plays Ghost, I think she did sign for Ant-Man and Wasp. I think it's a bit of a unicorn, that one. I've not seen many of them around. Have a look at that. Our resident statistician will have a look. Why does Card Cam look so dark? Oh, I think it's just the light in here. Look at what it does when I put my hand.
Yeah, it adjusts.
This is a white frame. Yeah, that's bizarre. Anyway, let's start off with the man himself then. This is the only card I have in hand of Sentry, but my goodness, what a banger! Unbound Year 1. Now, interestingly, I think Fred Ian did quite a lot of the characters from Thunderbolts, but they're in Unbound's Years 2 and 3, and all of my ones of those are still on COMC and or EPAC. So I know that they did a Yelena Belova card. I'm pretty sure they did Red Guardian. So yeah, don't know. Anyway, I love this card. I mean, it's really good.
It is.
That is great. It kind of just reminds me of how good season 1 of Unbound was too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking through it earlier on actually, because they're the ones I've got in hand, and it was just lovely flicking through them, and I kind of almost got PTSD though, because there are two types of collectors in the Marvel hobby: those that were there when Unbound Year 1 was being released every week, and those who weren't, and they just hear it whispered.
Yeah, I was pulling over midday at work, like refreshing, using my laptop, a tablet, and a cell phone.
Honestly,
it was bad.
Some people talk about it like it was Nam. It's like, you
bad.
weren't there, man. You weren't there. You don't know what it was like. But yeah, no, I love this. I realised I've got 2 of this card. I don't know why.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it's a nice card. We like that.
Yeah.
And then I was flicking through good old Marvel Beginnings, because I didn't know if Marvel Beginnings was going to come up trumps, and I went through the ones I had here from the box. Look at what I found.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I don't remember. I honestly didn't realize that. Mikkel, the trauma endures. Sorry, Mike. If we've triggered you, if you need to go and have a quiet moment and do some transcendental meditation, then please do so. I will be here for you when you come back. We are a support group here for Unbound Year 1 vets. But yeah, I mean, I dig it. I mean, obviously, I've not seen the character in the comics. I thought the way they did it in the movie was exceptionally good. But yeah, a shadowy creature plagued the Sentry, aka Robert Reynolds. Sorry, I'm just reading the text on the card. If I'm going to read the text on the card, I actually do need to do it out loud rather than in my head.
I kind of like how in the movie they tied the Void being able to overwhelm him and become the dominant force almost via his addiction and his past with, you know, that was like a nice tie into reality. You know, people lose their, you know, and so that kind of gave credence to how this thing is able to become the dominant force and take him over.
It grounded him.
It
really made him. It made him much more, I don't know, grounded and relatable too.
Yeah.
But that's what I think this film does really well. All the characters, you have that moment with them. Maybe not Bucky, because you've kind of already had that in Falcon and Winter Soldier. But you know, it really does. You know, some of the reviews I've read kind of nailed it in that it's quite a there's a lot of trauma in this film that a lot of the characters have gone through.
That was a common theme.
Yeah, and they really let that kind of breathe in the film. It's kind of embraced as a storyline thing. You know, like John Walker is an idiot. You know, he's a twat. But I think he's kind of, you get the sense from what happened to him with his wife leaving and all that sort of stuff, that he potentially could be coming out the other side of that. I don't know.
Right.
With his taco shield.
Yeah, taco shield. That's hilarious. So I've got that one. And then I couldn't resist digging in because, quite frankly, there's an awful lot of really good Taskmaster art out there. So I went masterpieces.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's a nice one.
That's
Hello, Simone Bianchi. Oh, look at that. It's so good.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, vibranium sword, vibranium shields, the some of the stuff with the character, the mask, the different variations of the mask. I like the more skull looking, you know, type deal. And so like this one's awesome. It's just a cool character. They kind of got put into a corner with the way they depicted the character, but it's what it is.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Taskmaster. When I was buying comics a lot, reading them weekly or monthly, one of my favorite series was Avengers: The Initiative, which takes place after Civil War. And then when they had kind of the Dark Empire, Dark Reign, when Norman Osborn took over, Taskmaster became the leader of the Initiative and was training these young heroes. And and anyway, he was real cool.
He was really cool during that. I picked up on him during a Deadpool run because I liked the art they had. They had Udon came on to do the art, and they did a lot of the art for X-Men versus Street Fighter, and I just really fell in love with that. A lot of people didn't like the interpretation of him during that because it almost looked like a Casey Jones mask. But I thought it was awesome. I thought it was really freaking cool.
Yeah.
Can we back up to X-Men versus Street Fighter? Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
One of the greatest fighting games ever.
Don't even get me started on the crossover they did the other year. What was
Marvel versus Capcom was.
The comic. IDW did some crazy crossovers. They did Star Trek: Next Generation and Doctor Who at one point, and I think Star Trek: Next Generation and X-Men have crossed over as well.
Yeah, back in the 90s. Yeah,
I mean, we got Winnie the Pooh and X-Men and Winnie the Pooh, and the crossovers are ridiculous.
And I had to go with the Palumbo one as well.
Nice. Yes.
Pieces 2020.
Very traditional.
I remember when I first saw this piece, I was just blown away. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I like about Palumbo's style with the way it was just different. It stood by itself. And at the time when it released, I was a little, all right, okay, it's going to take me a second, but I really appreciate some of these. This Taskmaster's beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I was going through the binder earlier on. I hadn't been through it in a little while. I was just like, wow, okay, I need to have a little, I need to have a little sit down with this later on. When I put this back in the binder and just flick through it. I've still got some gaps in MM 2020, actually. I'm astonished. Given it's the last MM set I'll likely collect, I think it's I think I need to sort that out. Oh, by the way, you probably know this, I finished Masterpieces 96 base set finally.
Oh wow, that's big time.
Yeah,
congratulations.
I got the last card from Raymond Baglioli, I think his name is, in Canada. And he sent it letter post. It was number 97. It was Daredevil. That crazy like 90s suit that he ended up in after Fall from Grace storyline.
Is that the kind of like armorish looking one?
Yeah. I never got on with that.
Got
on with that. I kind of stopped reading it after that. I just couldn't get past the suit. It just didn't feel didn't feel right at all. And to be fair, it didn't last long until the Kevin Smith Marvel Knights reboot. Which took it kind of back to the OG. So, but yeah, no, I enjoyed that. I had to go even further back though to the 90s as a nice segue. Hello, US agent. The 90s called, and they'd like their art.
Oh God, I remember that card.
You remember that card?
Yeah.
94.
I don't. Yeah, I was looking at US agent cards and saw that costume was also on the 94 masterpieces as well by the Hildebrands. I don't have that one, but that's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I was going to go back to the 94, 95 masterpieces because I knew there'd be some of these older school cats in there, but I was just like, you know what, I need to try and vary it. So I went into Marvel Universe because I didn't just want to come here with like Marvel masterpieces cards.
Yeah.
And then there's an interesting one with US Agent and Captain America in Marvel Universe 92, but I wanted one with the character on their own. And then I saw this one, and I was like, oh my giddy aunt. Right, hang on a minute. Right, where Jason's coming into play. What you got, Jason?
91.
Oh yeah, yep.
This is actually one of my first ever Marvel cards.
No shit.
Nice card.
My grandfather bought three or four packs of 91 Marvel Universe for me and my brother back then, and this was one of the cards. I had never heard of this guy. I thought it was Captain America, but then before the internet, this is how you found out about different things going on, different heroes. But I've had this since 91.
And they had the Marvel Universe, like the early promo packs that were like in all sorts of stuff. They had like a comic book with a promo pack of like 6 cards at the bottom. They were in vending machines and everything, so
they're everywhere. I mean, that's how they distributed stuff back in the day. I find it fascinating. I mean, listen, US Agent. I tell you, one of the cards had Captain America and Nomad on, like both in the same thing, and it really confused me because I thought Nomad was Captain America at one point.
He was, but then somebody else picked up the mantle in Nomad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So confused. This is I mean, I'm envious of the people who can actually follow all of the goings on within Marvel Comics. There are people out there who can, but I'm not one of them.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. So it's the only card I could find with her on. I know she's in Unbound, but I don't have that in hand. One of the Buckies.
That might be.
One of the Buckies became Nomad. How many Buckies are there? Are you telling me there's more than one Bucky, Mike? I was today years old when I realised that. Anyway, so again, there was Beginnings 2.1.
Definitely the team of Winter Soldiers, but I don't know if they referred to them all as Bucky.
Anyway, actually, no. This is Beginnings 2.2. What am I talking about?
Ian, that doesn't give artist credit, does it? Or
no, none of these do, unfortunately.
Damn.
Oh,
it's beautiful, isn't it? It looks. I mean, it has a shade of Bianchi about it, but I don't think it is.
I'm picking up Joe Mad, but that would be Ultimate then.
Right.
Yeah. Don't know. I dig it though. I like it. It's a nice card.
I think there's a lot more of her in the Rittenhouse stuff, in the Rittenhouse sets of Yelena, just kind of looking through like ComC and stuff. I don't know if she's featured a lot on the Upper Deck, but
no, it's cool. I mean, I went through a couple of the more recent annual sets, and I couldn't see her in there, so I couldn't see any of the characters in there. Right, and but I could, however, see Bucky Barnes from Marvel Annual 2018-19. Which is interesting. This is one of the SP cards.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
man, the base set on that series is so good.
Oh yeah, 2018-19 is the peak as far as I'm concerned of base sets for Marvel Annual, because they had this foil border, and that foil border became different colors and different parallels. And after that, they ditched all the foil on the base cards, and it was just on the inserts.
Right.
So the inserts from 2019-20 onwards are astonishing. They've all the foil budget went into that, but the base cards are quite plain looking.
I tell you what, I could F with Hawkeye and Winter Soldier as a TV show or a one-shot movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there's that one, and then the last one I managed to pull out before we started recording. Again, I've gone back to MM 2018, but this is the Rainbow Foil EPAC achievement.
Yep.
This one does that pop.
This one and the clear achievement on this one was awesome.
Oh, the clear. Yeah, I had the clear one, but I wanted to pull this one out because it obviously I think they printed these separately from the main print run, and it just feels more vibrant because the artwork is pretty dark on that original print run for that set. So, but this one, just with the rainbow foil, just really lifts it, and it's stunning. I mean, look at that. I mean, Upper Deck knows what they're doing with rainbow foil, don't they?
It's so good.
Yeah, the rainbow foil is top notch with them.
I mean, just look at that bottom of that card as I move it. You can see the colors in it. Yeah, beautiful card.
It never distorts the image. They pull it off very well with making sure it keeps the image clarity and still has that iridescence, which is tough to do.
But yeah, no, that's beautiful. Now I didn't pull in any MCU kind of cards for this because I kind of figured you've just seen them in the MCU in the film. So
I pulled a couple MCU just because they.
Oh, let's go.
Just because they like in the comics, they kind of change costumes and stuff like that, and in MCU they have some different variations. So I mean, we've got Bucky with short hair here.
Oh, Green Dazzlers.
Yeah, Green Dazzler. And then we've got Yelena in the Hawkeye with the long hair.
In her business suit.
You've been back to blind more blasters, haven't you? Those Green Dazzlers are lovely, those blasters.
Maybe. And then I also because Ghost, we've only seen her one time. So
yes,
I'll pull one out, but I've got a set of the single relic from.
Oh, nice.
So she's on a couple of them.
That's one of the subsets I need to finish.
Unfortunately, none of the single relics have her with the ghost mask on. But there's.
Nice.
Well, that's cool.
And I actually, I mean, I know people are iffy on the these costume relics, but I liked the way the Ant-Man and the Wasp ones looked.
Yeah.
I got to that set kind of late, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier had two Thunderbolts and a character. So I've got the film cells. So there's Bucky.
Oh, nice.
John Walker.
Okay, cool.
And who else was in Thunderbolts and Falcon?
Pass.
Where did Julia Louise first show up? What movie?
No, that was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. There we go.
Yeah.
There she is.
Actually, I think she showed up at the end of Black Widow first, and then in Falcon Winter Soldier. I forget which came first. I forgot what was released first.
You're the stat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'd have to look at IMDb.
No pressure or anything. Oh, here we go. MacLeod's coming in hot. End credits, Black Widow. There we go.
There he goes.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
And then as far as comics go, this is probably
that's the one I was looking for.
U.S. Agent.
Yes.
This is probably one of my favorite arts on the Fleer Ultra Avengers. I just like the perspective.
Those stripes though, they never go away, do they?
I know, but I've gotten to where I like. I mean, I don't like the stripes, but I've gotten to where like the art on the set is really good. This is Cacao art. So
yeah, he's very good.
And then I liked this art selection for Metal Avengers.
Oh, nice! Wow.
So you can see how they.
Yeah, it is.
I never saw that iteration.
No. So, and this one I was looking at like on eBay, U.S. Agent stuff, and I think this is from a mini series from a while ago called U.S. Agent American Zealot.
Okay.
A cover. I'm not sure who the artist is, but they kind of, this is kind of close to the sort of the costume he's got in the movie. I'm not sure about that costume he has at the end with the little hat. I don't know if I liked that too much, but
the beret.
Yeah,
that was a little silly.
It was.
This might be the first time he got any kind of justice, to be honest, as a character. Because I'm thinking like growing up when I first pulled like a U.S. agent, I'm like, what is this dime store Captain America? And I threw it across the room.
Well, that's exactly what they called him in the film.
Yeah, and I think in the film that's why it's funny because it correlates to the film, and no one gives him any credit and thinks that he's just a joke. Yeah, so I think it's kind of the first time that I thought he looked kind of cool at times.
Yeah,
he was good in Falcon. I don't know.
I liked him. I mean, he's different than Steve Rogers. I mean, he's a soldier.
Oh yeah,
he wants to support his country, but he's also follows orders, and he has a different mindset than than the other Captain America.
He's a lot more jaded because his life didn't work out nearly as well as Steve Rogers' life did, or Bucky's, or Falcon.
So.
Right. That's right. Okay. So Mike.
Okay. That's why
I was supposed to come out first, was a bit delayed, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier went first. Okay. Right.
Okay. That's where I was confused because I forgot which came first.
Have you got anything else, Joe? Do you want to show us that Taskmaster again now that you're on big?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just for the folks at home, that's one of the jumbos, yeah.
Yes, it's one of the blasters.
Comes in the blasters. Yeah. Oh, okay. Nice. Right. Keep that on screen. Keep that on screen. The John Walker. So first time you see John Walker in Falcon and Winter Soldier, he's introduced at some kind of rally thing, and he comes on, and there's a look that he gives to camera, and he does this smile, this grin, and he looks like the old man from Up. Do you remember that? I remember seeing memes at the time taking the piss out of it. So I think he's moved on a lot since then. How are you holding up, Josh? You getting ready for party?
Oh no, I'm good.
You're good. Oh, good. You're good.
Oh, yeah.
I showed this last episode, but this is my Ant-Man Wasp plate that has a faded looking ghost on it.
Nice. No, I did like her powers in this one. I like the fact that she could, they were talking about her going places, and but she has to know where she's going to actually get there.
She still didn't. They just still didn't have a lot for her to do. I mean, everybody else kind of got a moment. She was kind of just there.
I mean, I did like her interplay with the other characters.
Yeah,
I did like that. That was good.
She felt like she belonged.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I just she didn't have. I guess killing Taskmaster was her moment. I don't know, but
right.
I mean, she got him out of the bunker. So
true.
Yeah.
So she had, and that's the thing. What I like about it is there were kind of logical story reasons for everything that kind of happened with each of the characters to a degree, which is why it felt like it kind of worked as a film. I think they possibly overthought and over-engineered that slightly because they needed it to work as a film. Before I ask my last question on the movie necessarily, that Sentry fight scene where he comes out in his costume and she goes, "Oh, you dyed your hair," and it's like, "Oh yeah, blonde," and all this sort of stuff, and then they all start fighting him, and he suddenly starts like fully like enjoying his powers. Yeah. I think that was extraordinarily well choreographed.
It's like you said earlier, where it's tough to portray Superman, and do it in a practical sense and make it seem believable. Yeah. And I thought that they did a really, really good job. You could tell he's holding back the entire time, but it was really cool how that all was laid out.
Yeah, that was the other scene I liked a lot, was just how powerful he was, but that he was, Keith's right, he was holding back because he could have easily just decimated all of them. There. Yeah. I would say it was still a really cool scene, but the CGI at a point there looked a little Rubber Man, but it was still like a really good scene. I
honestly I didn't notice. I'm dying. I'm actually jonesing to watch that sequence again. I mean, I wouldn't mind watching the whole film again. But I'd quite enjoy watching that sequence again. I quite enjoy watching that sequence with some funky music like edited over it, like different types of music, almost without much of the sound.
Right.
Like a bit of Kate Bush, a bit of Fatboy Slim. You could do different like
the song from the trailer that I tagged into the repost of the today's show. Like that song was so freaking good.
I didn't know. I saw you repost it, but it was too late for me to have the sound on. What was it?
Like Gustafsson or something like that. It's I forget what the hell it is, but it's a smashy techno beat.
All right, I'll have a listen to that, and then I'll Shazam it, and then I'll put it on my iPhone. My iPhone will probably never play it because I've got so many songs on my iPhone. And right, can we just talk about iTunes Shuffle?
Okay.
When you've got so many songs on your iPhone, I mean, literally, I've got 4,000 songs on it. It only seems to play the Shuffle about 500 of them. And what's with that? Someone have a word with Tim Cook from Apple for me.
Maybe I'm not an Apple guy. I can't attest to it.
You're close. You're closer. You Spotify. Yeah, but you don't have. I can't. I have to. Even though it's digital, I still have the files on a physical device.
Right.
I can't do the whole streaming premium paid for services. I know I'm sound like a Luddite then, but it's just one step too far for me, I'm afraid.
Try playing some songs you haven't played in a while and kind of force the algorithm to.
Oh, I don't know. It's like shouldn't be.
There's an app I use for all my music on my phone. I use Power Amp, which is a spiritual successor to the people that created Winamp.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So I don't know if they have it in the Apple Store, but I know they have it on Android, and I use that.
Yeah. I'll have a look. Because not all app stores are created equal, Keith, as you will well know. But yes. Anyway, I digress. Has anyone seen Brightburn?
I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
I highly recommend it. It's not a DC film, so they don't call it Superman or anything like that. But it is literally like what would happen if an alien being in almost identical circumstances to Superman came to Earth, grew up, and was a little shit. And it's basically what happens if Superman grew up to be evil. And it is dark as fuck. It's really dark. Yeah. It doesn't outstay its welcome. I think it's just over 90 minutes, but it packs a punch.
I heard it's kind of a little gruesome at times.
Oh, yeah, very much so. Yeah. I highly recommend it.
I want to say James Gunn produced that or was involved in that somehow.
If you want to say that, say it. No one will stop you. Whether you're true or not is another point. But you say whatever you need to.
You're right.
But Right. So what do we think next for Thunderbolts? Because that's the thing with a lot of the stuff that's coming out now. You kind of get the feeling that it could be well be one and done. Those characters might appear somewhere else, but they might not do. I mean, Guardian. I think we're quite spoiled. Guardians had sequels. Doctor Strange has had sequels. Spider-Man's had sequels. Black Panther had one sequel. I don't know if they're planning to do any more, but. When you look at the Marvels, I don't think they'll do any more of them because it was commercially successful. Those characters will probably pop up somewhere else.
Sure.
And they'll definitely do another Deadpool movie, one would assume, because I'm not sure how you're going to cross the streams and have Deadpool in other Marvel movies because he's just going to steal it. So I think it'll be more a case of people going to play in Deadpool's sandbox rather than the other way around because it will literally be Deadpool kills the Marvel universe otherwise. But do we think they're going to do another Thunderbolts?
No, but I think we'll see the team united again.
Yeah,
because I think any of these like big movies where you need all the teams together, they start with some kind of conflict. So I think you're going to see an Avengers versus New Avengers kind of thing happen, and then Doom shows up and they unite, or whatever will unite them. Something's because they're already tiffy with each other. So there's got to be some way to kind of address that at some point.
Yeah, we'll see them in Avengers Doomsday.
Even if it's brief and they just get wiped off the planet, like who knows? But
yeah, you're gonna need some burner character. Some people are gonna have to go.
There's some fodder. You need some fodder.
Yeah. I did read somewhere that Moon Knight Series 2 was now not looking likely, but that they had plans for him to pop up somewhere else, which will be interesting.
The only thing with that is that the other thing I read in that article about Feige talking about being a good corporate boy is that he doesn't want anything that's on TV. Like Vision will be the last one that has an MCU star on it on Disney Plus because he felt like they got to a point where Disney Plus shows became homework for the movies, and he doesn't want that. He wants an audience to be able to walk into a movie with nothing. The ones that know will get more out of it, but people that just walk into the theater can just walk into the theater and watch these movies.
Gotcha.
And he felt like he created a situation where you got to do homework. So
staging,
maybe a one shot. I could see a one shot movie for Moon Knight, but I don't know if we would see him in the MCU necessarily, unless they use him as fodder.
Yeah, I loved Moon Knight so much, so good. I think now that you've established that third personality at the end of that film as well.
But let's do it again, but without the giant skeleton bird and crocodile and hippo and all that. I like make it a little more grounded. That's just my personal
take on it.
Yeah,
the hippo was over the top for me.
Yeah. Well, you had the giant kaiju fight at the end between.
I know. I'm here for the hippo. I'm here for the hippo.
I mean, they're cool. I think they're cool to show up, but
I'd
rather see
put the hippo right with the flying goats.
Love and Thunder.
The flying goats. See, that's the thing. Thor is still around. He's just not on Earth.
Right.
So he could, in theory, come back. When and how they're going to pick up new White Vision story? Who knows?
Right.
Because they'll have to get that. They have to. If you think of it, and I thought about this earlier on. You got to think of it now. Is like, where is that character on the board? But at this point, and so they've moved the pieces into position of Thunderbolt, so we know where those characters are. But White Vision, where is that character on the board at the moment? They haven't kind of moved that character forward to the point that then that character could then be in one of these bigger movies.
Hopefully Sentry rolls up and rips him in half.
You never know. Well, he's died once and came back, so it probably wouldn't be the first and last time. But so I enjoyed that. Let's do this again for Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And then in 2 years for Captain America Brave New World.
I was just going to say, you beat me to it.
Now, where are we? I had a note from Ben Marshall, otherwise known as English Ben. And I thought, you know what? I saw it come in and I haven't replied to it. So I thought I'm going to read it out on the show because he's not watching, but he will probably watch on catch up. Hi, Ian, long time. Just saying hello. Playing some middle-aged dad's cricket tomorrow. So we'll miss the live show again. but wanted to say that the podcast on plates and metal cards was really, really good. I'd love to see a future one on sketches and anything any of you guys have commissioned. I'm up to 6 Masterpieces Mystique sketches now. So you remember this was the guy who decided to PC Mystique.
Mm-hmm.
And we were saying you can collect anyone then, because she could be anyone.
Yeah.
You know, we were playing that joke again for like the 11th time, and it was still not funny. But anyway, I hope you had a good day and a good life tomorrow. Take it easy, Ben. So he's not the only person that said that kind of, you know, when we looked at those particular types of cards, you know, a lot of people really enjoyed that. So I think I'd already kind of decided to maybe do that again, and maybe we could look at film sales, manufactured patches, you know, a lot of the stuff that some people don't really like, but I think we could look at some good examples of them and talk about the good and bad of them. I definitely want to talk about lenticular cards.
Comic cuts.
That could be a 2-part episode.
Yeah.
I've been buying blasters, so I've got a couple. I pulled some lenticulars from '92 Masterpiece Platinum.
Oh, okay. That's
and
interesting.
I kind of like those. And also, I'm sure we could do acetate or clear cards at some point too.
Yeah, plexi cards and die cuts and all that. Like, there's a lot there.
Yeah, so we've done metal cards. Maybe we could do plastic cards, and you know, because otherwise, I don't think we could. with the best one in the world, I'm not sure how much we can say about acetate cards over a 2-hour period. But if we were talking about acetate, plexi, you know, and types of,
because that would be good
quite interesting
to differentiate.
Yeah.
Do an episode named Paper or Plastic.
Or both, because some of them, the best ones, merge the two really beautifully well. And we won't bury the lead by talking about which ones eccentric. Excuse me. So we'll do more of that. And what else can I tell you? I can't really tell you anything else at the moment, apart from the fact that in 2 weeks today, we would normally do. So we're kind of doing it every other week now. These ones, which is fine. But in 2 weeks, I won't be able to do one because my wife will be down in Devon seeing her father for his birthday, and she's making the trip because he's kind of quite ill and it might be his last one. So she's making that trip. So I probably won't be around. So if we end up doing one like in a different schedule or cadence, we'll try and announce it sooner. So that people know what's going on. But Josh is going to go and get absolutely shit-faced now. Try not to fall. Was it my mum used to say when I was growing up? She used to say, Ian, don't get drunk and fall off the end of the pier. She used to say this, and we lived like 20 miles from the sea. So I don't know what she was on about. Anyway, so don't get drunk and fall off the end of the pier.
I won't.
Say. My old ma used to say. And yeah. I did have something else to say. What was it going to be? Yes. I think next time we should have a look and a little muse about the slate of upcoming Marvel products from Topps. Because they did put up some content that just gave set names.
Yeah.
And I did a post on MCCW on the podcast account and said that, you know, what are your thoughts? And so many people commented that I think we've got to do an episode about it because it was very interesting. Some of the comments on there were very interesting. That's all. Did you see the post? Have you read it? It's hilarious. I mean, the overall, without bearing the lead too much, the overall tone of 75% of the comics was "get the fuck out of here." Not for me, but the ones that kind of dove in a little bit and kind of, you know, said, "Oh, that looks intriguing. I wonder what they're going to do there." So I think we could probably look at that. So I think we'll probably do that next episode, whenever that will be. Apart from that, you know, this is a rather tidy hour and 18 minutes. I'm kind of done, unless you guys have got anything else to talk about.
Pretty crisp episode.
Yeah.
Pretty crisp, nice and crispy. Stick around afterwards because I want to talk to you guys about something. But everyone else, have an absolutely wonderful day. Once again, thank you for spending an hour and 20 minutes with us. I wish I could spend a lot more time with you. Unfortunately, I can't. And that's all I have to say about that. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Josh. Josh, it's your birthday. You've got to see us out this week.
Everyone, enjoy collecting.
Enjoy collecting. Enjoy your beer later on.
Oh,
are you a beer or cocktails man?
Both. I'll have one or two cocktails laced with a lot of beers before, in between, and after.
Okay, fair enough. Budweiser on the beach.